Salem Dostar. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Singer Dad Reacts. My name is Josh. A special welcome to all of my fellow deers out there. I'm here to provide a special treat for you in appreciation for all of the support that you've given to me since my channel's been around since last July. I'm going to be skipping forward in Dimash's timeline to something very recent, his performance of Stranger, and this was at the grand opening of the International Competition of Young Performers New Wave 2021 in Sochi, Russia. So I'm very excited to see this, and there's been a lot of buzz about this song and this performance and what he does with some of these new songs, and so I'm excited to see where he's come with his voice and kind of where he's at. And then, of course, what I'll do is I'll pick up from where I left off around 2019 in his timeline, and continue to kind of see how he grew and got to this point. So with that, for those of you that are new to my channel, one of the things that I do is I read through the lyrics and kind of talk about the message behind the song, and then I jump into the reaction. So if you're not into the lyrics part of my reaction, I do have chapters outlined in my YouTube videos. And so if you just scroll on the video itself, you'll see different chapter marks there, and you can skip ahead directly to the reaction. So if that's you, feel free to just skip ahead and skip this part of my reaction. For those of you that are interested, this song, Stranger, the music was written by Igor Krutoy, lyrics by Sharon Vaughn, arrangers Dimitris Kontopoulos and Yerlan Bekturin. And I got these lyrics directly from Dimash's channel, from the video itself. It was they were in the description. So I'm trying to get the right lyrics, and in the past I've used Lyric Translate and things like that, and it doesn't always get it right from what some of your comments have been. So hopefully this should be the most accurate of the lyrics that are out there as far as an English translation. So new ground, far as I can see, new ground underneath my feet, stranger in a stranger's land, new chance to know who I am, if I have the strength to begin again. Somewhere in my heart in ancient times, I wandered through these valleys, I have climbed among these hills, faces from a past, I'm haunted by their memories. Lives and loves I've lost, I feel them in me still. New ground far as I can see, new ground underneath my feet, stranger in a stranger's land, new chance to know who I am, if I have the strength to begin again. Melodies I've never heard, I now am singing. The feel of swords I must have carried long ago. Fire was branded on my skin, though there's no scarring. Burning in my blood, the distant spirits flow. So it repeats the chorus. And that's it. So let's see. I'm not sure what the meaning is. There's probably some symbolism here, which is often the case with many songs, where it's not something you should take necessarily literally. New ground in this case could be something where these are new horizons that he has in his life. These are new adventures he's on with kind of some of the ground he's breaking with new songs and new audiences that he's getting through the growth of his deers throughout the world, with, you know, his newfound exposure through MTV, things like that. I don't know if that's part of this. New chance to know who I am, if I have the strength to begin again. Or it could be something in his life where he's setting off on some new adventure, new things are happening to him, a love interest or something like that. That could also be part of it. Somewhere in my heart in ancient times I wander through these valleys, faces from my past. Yeah, so this one, there's obviously some hidden meaning, and I'll have to do a little more research on this to get a better understanding. If any of you have any insights into the meaning of these lyrics, and you want to put that in the comments, I would appreciate that to learn a little bit more about it. It's not always completely clear when you read the lyrics. So for those of you that may be new to my channel, or if you haven't already, if you could please click on the subscribe, click on the little notifications bell there to be notified of any of my new reactions. I'm going to be trying to be more active and add more videos and pay more attention to my channel here. I've had quite a few things going on in my life recently, so that's pulled me away. But I definitely have a goal to jump back into it and do a lot more videos. So please do subscribe and let me know how I can improve the channel. Thank you. And I do have the English subtitles turned on, so hopefully that will help with any of the translations that are needed with the video.
Спасибо. Спасибо огромное.
Thank you, thank you.
А теперь прозвучит новая песня. Примеры.
Oh, that's right. This is the Kobiz, I think is how you pronounce it. It's a very interesting instrument. It has a very folk sound to it. That's cool.
You crown far as I can see.
So it's in English, okay.
You crown underneath my feet.
There's Igor.
Stranger in a stranger's land.
His English has gotten a lot better. He's really...
To know who I am if I have the strength to begin again.
See, these are the types of things that he does with his voice, where he'll add these little like he did there, like this little like that at the end of the word there. He has his own little things that he does that add different textures to the song, and he's so experimental with it. He just kind of does a bunch of different things, right? Like Sinful Passion, where he does kind of the special kind of like the yodelish type sound that he does there when he's singing toward the middle of the song. These are some of the little things that he does where he just adds these unique elements to it that make it uniquely Dimash and add its special colors to the painting, if you will, right? So I'm sure this is going to be phenomenal. Then the setting is just breathtaking. And I love already that he has singers here, so there's going to be backup singers. So that should really be good. Okay. It's almost like Olympico, right? Where he's got, but not quite as many as he had in that. Let me go back a little bit.
If I have the strength to begin again.
See, right? Oh, that's cool. The Kobiz is adding really a cool element to it.
Somewhere
Oh, wow.
heart in ancient times I wonder.
Oh, wow.
Through these valleys I have find them on these hills. Faces from
low was that? That's the lowest I think I've ever heard him sing. Wow. Okay. I got to go back and figure out how low that is. Sorry, guys. Let's see. It's down there. Let's see.
Somewhere in my heart, in ancient times, I wonder.
Whoa. Wow. Whoa. I could even go that low. So that's got to be. So I can go down to like a E2. Fairly strong E2. So it's got to be lower than that. Wow. Yeah, he's been working on his range. And I've heard that from some of you out there that have said that he's worked on like that lower range to kind of build it out. Wow. That's cool. Sorry, I'm going to listen to that again.
Somewhere in my heart, in ancient times, I wondered. Through these valleys, I have climbed them on these hills. Faces from us, and how deep are their memories? I've said lost, I've lost.
That's cool.
I feel them in this sea.
This phrase right here is a little more pop. I love the spinning vortex type thing in the background. That's really cool. Wow. He just jumps way up there. Oh, man. That's crazy. How much ground did he cover right there? He's just jumping. I've said this before. He just like pick an octave, any octave, and just, you know, jump into it. Sing with power in it and change up. I talked a little bit about it while he was singing there, but it's like, it reminds me kind of like SOS, where he changes different genres within the course of the song, right? So there's a folk element, there's a pop element, there's a classical element where you kind of see him go, oh, and kind of that, kind of more of a round sound where he's kind of, you know, opening things up a lot, and you hear that richness. So he can switch it up and do whatever he wants, genre-wise, sound-wise, range-wise. It's crazy. I gotta hear this again. Sorry, this is blowing me away right now. You see he's doing something right there too. Oh, wow. Oh! And now let's jump down to the lower range again.
New ground underneath my feet.
Ooh.
Stranger in a stranger's land.
What he's doing right there is very hard. a lot of times, if you don't understand kind of the way the voice works, you think it's harder to sing like, loud and stuff like that. But actually, what he's doing right there is harder than any of that because he's singing stranger, but he's doing it like really soft and just kind of not a whisper tone, but he's making it really soft, but yet still keeping the resonance there and and bringing the sound through in a full way. And that's hard. When you're on either end of your range, especially, it gets more difficult. And lower notes, kind of, because I am kind of a bass baritone, I understand kind of how that works with the voice. And when you're kind of in the lower part of your range, or starting to get lower, you have to like open things up more and get more sound involved to really make those notes come through with power. So he's amazing. This is crazy.
New ground underneath my feet. Stranger in a stranger's land.
Right there.
New chains, don't know who I am if I have this strength to begin.
See how open he is? Oh my gosh. What? Wow, okay. Okay, I just looked. I think it's an F sharp 5, but let me go back. But I also want to see kind of how long he held that out. That was crazy. I'm pretty sure that's what the note is, though. I don't think it's a 6. That's high, though, to go. So he starts it at around 458. Yeah, that's an F sharp 5. So yeah, roughly like 18 seconds. Wow. 18 seconds on a note that high.
Димаш Кудайберген!
Игорь Крутой!
Wow. Well done, Igor.
Браво!
Спасибо огромное!
Crazy.
Спасибо большое. Люблю вас сильно.
Where's my subtitles?
Пресильно.
Браво! Ну, конечно, невероятные эмоции мы испытываем от голоса Димаша.
I have the subtitles turned on, but it's not showing any.
Огромное. Спасибо, спасибо. Игорь Крутой!
Huh.
И лучший хоббист мира, мой друг, гость из Казахстана, Олжас Хурманбек. Спасибо!
Oh, okay, yeah. He's introducing the Kobe's player. Wow. Well, Man. He just keeps getting better and better. I don't understand it. I already thought he was just spectacular and amazing and the best singer on the planet, but now it's like he's building on that. He's building out his range. His lower end was well beyond anything I've heard up to this point at 2019, where I'm at on his timeline. So he's definitely between end of 2018 until now, he's been working on his lower range quite a bit and has expanded it substantially. Because, I mean, he was probably close to an octave below what I've heard him sing on the low end. And then his control, his English was better. His switches between genres was more clean. Everything was more polished and clean. Everything that was already just super impressive and amazing is now better. So, wow. What do you say after that, right? I mean, he's incredible. So if you guys can kind of help, like I said, I don't understand why the English subtitles didn't show up at the very end, but if you could kind of put in the comments what he was saying. I'm sure he was thanking Igor and the others and all of that. That's usually what he does there at the end of his performances. But if you could kind of speak to that in the comments, that'd be great. And also, like I said before, if you know any of kind of the story behind this song, that would be interesting to get a better understanding of kind of what it means to him and everything. And maybe what I'll do, since I've watched this, is I'll go and watch an interview around this time where he talks about this song and see if he kind of illuminates any details around, what it means to him. So I'll go do that. Anyway, yeah, so I'm blown away. There were several moments in there that just took me by surprise, and I didn't think that was possible with Dimash, given the fact that I already have 31 reactions on my channel to Dimash. So, I mean, I've heard him sing a ton of different songs, and not each of those is a single song, right? So the Bastau concert, for instance, some of my reactions, I have, 3 or 4 songs on a single reaction. So the number of songs I've actually seen him perform is probably approaching 40, actually, given those Bastau reactions. But yeah, this one was a step above, in my opinion, as far as just what he showed and what he's capable of now. That was amazing. So, anyway, so I'll keep them coming. Like I said, I really do want to try to stick to my timeline. I just wanted to give you guys a treat and step forward a little bit to kind of see where he's at and then go back on his journey. I may do that again for Ave Maria. That is one of the songs I love. I wouldn't mind actually doing a cover of that, but if it's the same version that I'm familiar with. Knowing him, it's going to have his own spin, of course, but that's one that I would skip forward to react to as well. So I'll have to kind of gauge that. Maybe when I reach the end of 2019, I'll jump forward for that, and then I'll finish out with all the 2020 stuff. So yeah, give me your suggestions of performances from 2019 that you would recommend that I react to. Some of your favorites. I'm not going to do every performance, obviously, from a given year. But I do want to kind of go through and react to those that are your favorites, and pick the songs that you really love, because that's why I'm here. I'm here for you, and to hopefully bring some level of joy and entertain to some degree, and teach a little bit about the voice and what's going on with that. And I've talked about it before, but Dimash is the master, basically, of all the things going on with the voice. And like I said, I've done close to 40 performances of Dimash, and I've never really heard him struggle, other than that one performance he had where he was sick when he was on The Singer. During that one, his voice just sounded a little bit tired, and I'm definitely aware of what that feels like. When I performed in Les Miserables several years ago, I ended up getting laryngitis, and so I had to really like baby my voice through the course of the rehearsals and everything in order to get through and still have, you know, a decent voice for that. So it does pose some challenges when you get sick and you're supposed to perform. So I can understand that. But yeah, other than that incident there, I really haven't heard him strain or struggle for notes or whatever. I mean, he just makes it look effortless with all the things he's doing with, you know, manipulating his larynx and changing the way that they call this the mask, the way he's kind of bringing the sound through. And one of the things you can see also when you see a singer and they purse their lips like this, or they bring it out like that, they're kind of elongating the vocal mechanism, and so it can make it kind of a darker sound or a richer sound coming through that way. So if you see him kind of doing that, that's part of why vocalists may do that. And then if you see them go like this, it's because they want to make it brighter and kind of cut it short where it's not as long, and it's got kind of a higher, almost a twangy or a brighter sound to it. So that's kind of how this whole thing works. There's a lot of mechanics that goes into the voice and the singing process that people don't realize a lot of times. So those are things to watch for when you see Dimash singing. But if you're watching a singer and they kind of go like this with their shoulders, or you see their neck kind of bulging and things like that, that's usually a sign that there are some problems there with them tensing up or not breathing properly, or singing from their throat instead of singing from their diaphragm and supporting properly. So these are kind of some of the things to watch for. And you can watch for that with Dimash as well, but you're not going to see it. I haven't seen any of that with him. So anyway, I love Dimash. I'm grateful for all of you dears out there and your patience with me and getting back to doing some Dimash reactions. And I hope all is well for you during this holiday season. And I hope to see you again soon. And as I do with all of my reactions, I'm going to end by saying that you need to know that you are special, you are loved, and you can accomplish your dreams. And you need to know that and have the courage to face each day and the challenges that come, and to have people around you that support you and lift you and bring happiness to your life. That's what life is all about. And serving others and bringing joy to those around you. So I encourage you to do that as I do myself, and I thank you for your support again, and take care.